I thought it was recording, but it wasn't, so that's all right. It does that. That's why I like the camera facing me. Then I know it's recording. It's really beautiful here today. We are going to record myself doing something which I do very often, which is to get the phone and play with myself. I hope you will enjoy it. Yes, you will. Good. I like to know that. That enhances my pleasure. Now, I hope you like this. I am going to smoke some marijuana. Not marijuana. Mary Jane. Marry me, guana. Oh, guana. Guano, which is like seagull shit. Marry guano to you all. It's seagull's version of Christmas. Marry guano to you. When I was very young, a seagull almost stood on my head, and a woman named Teresa Sharp. Notice the name Sharp. She was the sharpest pencil in the class. Also, she was a little more mature than most of the children, so she got moved to the next grade, and she made friends with the older children. So it was interesting for a while to be in a class with someone who was as smart as me, but more mature. And it was like, see ya, Teresa? I mean, I found that with girls, that on different levels, they were always more mature than I was. So essentially, if a boy is put through school and he's surrounded by girls, he's not only that, he's surrounded by people who are in a largely admission there. Right? Tell me how I'm entitled by that. And I probably shouldn't complain. You'd say, well, dude, like, you got to be around girls. But you're not talking to that type of dude. I wasn't interested, and I'm still not interested in girls that way. Sure, I get horny. I masturbate to online porn. I can get an erection, but that doesn't mean I'm interested in women. It just means that I have a biological urge to fuck you. It's a very different thing. And since I don't have sex with people that I don't feel safe with, I've never had sex. But I have had women be extremely aggressive. It's like in some sense they know I'm a virgin, you know? I consider myself, when I feel their minds, I feel like I'm a cheeseburger. And I want to say, hey, where's the fries? You can have a happy meal. But that is not the case. I'm going to get my gloves back on. Hold on a second. They are very, very handy. It's like I'm using my jacket and my gloves. I've had these gloves for 2 years and I've never used them. And they're amazingly good at what they do. And they just keep me warm. Oh, they're awesome. They're fucking awesome, man. So here I am, by the river, as you see. And I can't even begin to tell you the book that I could write about women. The only difficult thing is I've got all the stories, I've got all the information, I've got all my experiences, and then all the different knowledge I could probably get from that. The book is already written. But here's the main problem. How do you approach a book telling the story and expressing your very strong opinions about women being too aggressive for your liking and women raping you. What it's like talking to female therapists, what it's like talking to female healers, what it's like talking to female doctors, what it's like talking to female or male police officers, what it's like talking to women, what it's like making YouTube videos, what's it like being me? Who's probably the most feminine motherfucking dude, who's still a fucking alpha male you'll ever fucking meet in your life. My mom was raped when she's 5. I spent 5 years investigating it and finding out about it. I wrote books upon my investigation when I was 18, 19, and no one had even told me what had happened. I fucking have the intuition of times 1,000. You know why? Because I love my fucking mother and I love being healthy. You think I want to live in a family where my mother's been raped by her older brothers? I'm healthy. You don't imagine that healthy things are going to come from that. And if you can fucking survive and be a moral person and be a person who has a strong sense of things, I know that's a bit of a harbinger for a lot of people, but that's what we're shooting for. And it starts when you're born as a child. That's why when you're young, you don't like to say the F word. It sounds too harsh. You have an innate sense that there's probably better ways to express yourself. I was always sad when I heard children my own age say the F word. I'm like, oh, it's like you broke your psychological hymen. Okay, I'm angry. Fuck, I'm angry now. Hey, I'm angry. Hey, you don't even know you're angry. And I knew children who were angry. You know it. They would just say the word fuck. Why do you think Casper is the friendliest ghost you'll meet? Because he can be invisible whenever he wants to be. I can do this because there's no one around here. I'm not facing the optimum direction. I'm on a public path, but it's the only place I can sit my camera. It's good to stand up. It's good to move. I'm in -8-degree weather. I'll be walking in 5 or 10 minutes, but I like to take a moment because I'm kind of working on like how to approach this book. It's all there. And then it's like, what kind of person do you want to become? Are you writing this book to become a misogynist? Are you writing this book because you think women are going to sympathize with you? Are you writing this book because you think people are going to learn something from you? And I don't think any of those things are true. So for the first time in my life, after writing almost 50 books, I have to ask myself, why would I write that book? What's in it for me? Would it be useful to anybody? Probably not. So I'll give you a little trick. Writing in witchcraft, I'll give you a little trick. Writing and witchcraft basically intersect. Okay? One is not entirely the other, but they can be the same thing when they need to be. And my secret would be, don't write something. Well, for me, not don't write something unless you know what you want to get from it. But also, don't let it stop you if you just want to write things for you. It's just that I don't want to do that anymore. I can make videos, I can talk about it, but there's something about, I have written a few things on my blog, cosmicheaven.blogspot. If you look in just 2021, especially at Christmas time. We'll probably see a few interesting things there. It seems that what I've experienced isn't just about me. So where I could take it as a writer is say, well, if it's not about women, they're angry, they're violent to me, what else could it be about? Could it be could it talk about something true? Would mark a kind of, and maybe has physically, chemically changed your view of the world in a way that took a quarter of a century to half a century to kick in? What are we talking about that? And you say, well, those are emotional terms, hyperbolic terms. But for a lot of victims of sexual abuse, that's exactly what happens. It's its own animal. And it sort of says the world is almost uncreated. Like too many options of things to feel or say or be angry about. You could write, one could write so many books, you could write so many poems. I met an upper class white woman. She happened to be Jewish. 20-page poetry book. She signed it for me. But she was so self-important. She never found out that I wrote poetry. I had written 20,000 pages of poetry in my life. She had written 20 pages. And one of the poems was called The Rape Poem. At no point, as someone who'd been raped, did I ever get the sense that this was based on a real experience. And yet, I have never written one single poem about rape. Right? Rape is a robbery. It's something taken from me. Poetry is something that I own. It is me. If you're writing a poem, no one has taken anything from you. But it's just that that's not enough. I have to watch out for is my feet getting cold. So I've solved the hand problem. It's a big deal, but it is quite cold today. So let's get the backpack back on. Get the gloves allow me to keep recording more than I did yesterday. And also, all of my uploads are not uploading, so I'm just kind of pretty laissez-faire. I don't like to spend too much time fucking around with technology when I do videos or playing with myself. So I want to limit the amount of time that I spend fiddling around with technology because I just feel there's so many more things to do. If they can't make it work the first time, then what's the point? Okay. There we go. I mean, it's just camera. It's been around for so long. Music and movies and digital this and that. Like, it's not plug and play. If it's not ready to go, then I bought my mom an MP3 player, right? It's like, oh, let's go online and get you some songs. The fuck if I didn't spend all fucking day and day trying to figure out where to get fucking MP3s, that are worth anything. I've got, and you go onto these like music streaming stations and it's like, oh, by the way, you can't get MP3s here. You can download music, buy music. Sorry, no MP3s. But then there's people giving you advice and saying, oh yeah, I know you can do this and you can do that and it's okay. You can do this and you can do that. And I'm like, fuck you. None of this shit is doing anything for me. And then you find out why. And it's like, next thing you know, you're subscribed to this program and this program because they're going to help you get your fucking music. And I'm sure people who are used to listening to music and whatnot know exactly what to do. And but I don't. I said, Mom, I wish I had a friend right now. anyone who knew how to do this shit because I bought my mom an MP3 player and some nice microphones, and she hasn't had a chance to use them yet. So I can actually find a way to download a song here, a song there, but what I wanted was a package, of like 250 songs. Like, I'll pay for that. Then my mom has something to fuck around with. Okay. Alright. It's kind of dangerous, actually. Luckily, this woman went ahead of me, this lesbian. She's really nice. She's kind of broke the trail. Thank you. With her German Shepherd. Kind of freaked me out today. It's like walking down the trail as a German Shepherd. It's like, I appreciate if you keep your dog on the other side of your body, not the one facing me. But so, I've met her dog, and they're pretty good, but they're still a German Shepherd. I'd say, what's one to do? They're a pretty indomitable breed of dog. It's not that they're going to hurt me. It's like, what happens if they do? And I'm walking by and thinking, I'm already calculating my option. Okay, she's got a good hand on the leash. And literally, my first thought is not, I know who this is, although I did. My first thought is, I don't think this woman is completely with it when it comes to boundaries. And that was the only downside about meeting her. It's just a little bit of boundary issues. That's okay, And she's approaching me on a short trail with a German Shepherd between the both of us. And I just get the feeling she's not picking up my body language because I don't know who she is yet. We've got our winter clothing on. And it's like, I'm giving her a lot of my trust. I'm walking by and going, okay, she looks like a bit of a weird female. I'm going to give her, like someone you don't really want to trust with anything. I'm trying to stay safe out here, and you've got a fucking German Shepherd, and this is not what I want to see today. And that's what my emotional is telling me. It's like, and then I see her and it's like, okay, I know her German Shepherd's really low key and all this sort of stuff. We've met, the dog knows me, but that doesn't mean anything. I've met them once, twice. It's like, this dog is not my fucking buddy. So it's just, they're animals. You just don't know. It's the reason, like when you go out in nature hiking, they say most of the search and rescue teams, not as often in this part of the world, but it happens, and other parts, like say where it's really warm, but it gets really cold at night, that the biggest percentage of people they end up having to see is day hikers, right? Because you can't trust the animal of nature as much as you think. You come out like, what's going to happen? Climate change should be like, how do you deal with hiking when something changes? That's your climate change, It's not like recycling all your fucking tampon applicators. It's like, what's going to happen today when I go for a walk? And so I've got supplies that I need. I could not spend the night. I suppose I could make a fire. I've got lighters and stuff on me that may or may not work. I've stuck them in cotton gloves and put them in my breast pocket because they're not, I was supposed to buy a new one today and I didn't. But I just said to myself, like, I was going through my lighters, like, none of them work, right? I'm like, shit, I got like 4 joints on here I can't light. And then I just said, fuck that. I took my gloves off and I was lighting a joint. And sure enough, I picked up a lighter and it worked because I just decided that it would. And I had it in my hands and just let it rip. But I have to buy some new ones because I think the cold contracts them and they have less pressure and it doesn't work as well. I think something like that to that effect. PV equals NRT. Oh, PV equals NRT. It finally came in handy. You lower the T, you lower the P. Because P is directly proportional to T. Fuck. P is directly proportional to T. I wish I was with the right now. Dude, our lighters aren't working. Hey, dude, that's because P is directly proportional to T. Fuck. Man, I was just talking to the green elf and the gnomes and the round council of the entire Gaian matrix of the earth. Yeah, but P is directly proportional. What the fuck? Okay, put it this way. If I push you and I'm in a foul mood, you'll hurt more than if I'm in a very cold, damp temperament. And I'm just like, ooh, I pushed you. In this way, I could probably light my fart a lot easier than I could light this lighter, you know what I'm saying? Because it's got more pressure, and it's got more T, and it's got more P. You know what I'm saying? Here, look. Where's that green elf at? I'll show him. Let me stick his big green nose up my ass. You're ruining my tight fit. Okay, fuck. What the fuck is wrong with these fingers?